Hey all, great day today. I'm sitting here with my buddy Chris from Graphco, and we're just going to do a little print UV update. What's going on? The show's coming up soon. I always call it the greatest show on earth. I've never been to a print show where more people are friendly, more people talk, more people share information, not proprietary stuff. Just want to make that point. But there are no secrets in our industry, and even if someone tells you a secret, go try and replicate it. But all that to say, love the show. And the other thing about the show coming up this March is we're going to have a tribute to one of our co-founders, Hans Ulland. But Chris, welcome. And
Thank you very
what's
much.
your take? By the way, I'll just get interrupted. He was so kind to join me while he's on vacation in some sunny, warm place. So thank you for that.
Glad to do it, Warren. And we're really thrilled to participate in Print UV again. We actually started presenting at Print UV in 2014, basically about a year after we began the direct importation of the RMGT printing presses here in North America. And as you said, I feel like as a 2-day conference event, I'd be very hard pressed to think of a more meaningful, impactful, and, like you said, collegial kind of a meeting place for our industry.
Yeah, no, it's well said. So you're going to be there representing who? Just so I give you the opportunity to mention a couple names.
Oh, well, sure. So, well, first of all, Graphco has the importation rights for the central 19 states of the United States. We start up in Minnesota, North and South Dakota, and then go all the way down to Miami Beach, as a matter of fact. And so, as the importer for that region, we've participated in various different cooperative efforts throughout the years of Print UV. But this year, we're going to be there representing Graphco and the RMGT brand, plus everything else that we sell.
Cool. So actually, I had a it wasn't RMGT before, it was Mitsubishi, and you guys
Mitsubishi
Ryobi Merv. But I will just say, even when I had my Mitsubishi press, spectacular press, never an issue. You take care of it, lasts forever. And then I went actually even to the factory in Japan where your presses are made. Also very impressive. So if I was in a position to buy another press, I would buy your press for certain things. And for my oversized, I would go back and buy my KBA. I think today they call it Koning Bauer, but I'll never call it that. But anyways, love it. So I was with the two best machine companies or press companies. What do you like best about Print UV?
Well, as I mentioned, over the years, we have definitely found that I think partially because of the vision that both Steve Metcalf and Hans had to make this a very, very, let's say, non-denominational type of a event. Well, certainly our tables and our competitor tables had branding. This was an event where everybody was sharing information about UV printing, and in our world, especially LED UV. Something I guess I'm not sure everyone knows, but Ryobi, Panasonic, and Toyo invented LED printing back in 2006-07, and then in 2008, Drupa made the presentation. So when the rest of the world was using mercury vapor lamps, like I think your KBAs and Mitsubishi's had, because you were a packaging guy. Already this, relatively small company, Ryobi, had already seen the future that, you can't throw mercury vapor lamps into a landfill because mercury gives kids cancer. You can't always count on pulling 300 and 400 amps off the grid just to cure a piece of paper for the rest of your life, because power is getting more expensive. And then if you didn't start doing it in a more economical and environmentally friendly way, our industry was going to come up against some real headwinds. And so they developed LED. And when we started going there, it was really us and Hans and Steve, you know what I mean? Like most of the rest of the people there were still pushing this whole high energy, not very environmentally friendly way of printing. And we were the ones that were really espousing a new way. So had we not had that, I guess I would call it kind of, I don't know what it wasn't a bully pulpit because it was always done in a very non-denominational way. But without that venue to push the advantages of LED, I'm not sure it could have caught on quite so well. So that's why we like going. I mean, it's just a very
Yeah.
open environment for information passing.
Yeah, speaking of the LED, I remember, I mean, Steve and Hans, they were showing, they had lights and they had paperwork and
Mhm.
flyers and pamphlets back then, and they were really going crazy. And I think everybody else with the regular conventional UV was going, what is that? How's that possible? How are we going to do
Well,
that? I mean, we had, you know, you had dryers in every unit, you had big pipes going
yep.
through the ceiling to you know,
Mhm.
get rid of stuff. And then I think, I mean, UV way back when it started, I think was causing cancer even. People were afraid of it at one point.
Well, I mean, I think that if we've learned nothing else in the intervening time since 2014, you know, an informed consumer is our best customer. You know, at these events where both Graphco and our colleagues on the RMGT side, and then the folks from AMS were really pushing LED, and I guess that once folks understood what all was possible, and that most, if not all, of the kind of negative doomsaying from the other side was either not legitimate or certainly exaggerated, the press sales started to come. You know, we talked a little bit before the event. I could probably point to somewhere between 20 and 25 RMGT end user sales that either commenced at PrintUV, or in most cases, they were advanced by PrintUV. And then actually, after we saw the value of this for the first 4 years, we included a free trip to PrintUV for our customers that committed to buy a new press. We
Love
paid
it.
the whole thing, their airfare, their entry. Derek, our salesman, took them out for a big fancy dinner, or I did. And those folks learned a ton from the blanket guy and the coatings manufacturers and the ink people, because it was still a technology that you needed to understand. It wasn't scary per se. It just needed to be organized. And this was a great event to be able to do that.
Oh, I think it's I just like the family like type event that it is. I like that everyone is in the lobby at the B bar. And that's like our
Mm-hmm.
main that's the meeting office for everybody, right?
Right. Right.
But wow. Yeah, no, so actually I want to give a little shout out to you and Graphco because over the years I've never had the opportunity to buy from you because I'm in Canada, but we've hung out a lot and I've hung out a lot with Derek and I've been around and I've listened and I just think you guys do a really good job of building relationships with your meaningful relationships with your customers because you're not
Mm-hmm.
an OEM. You're more important than the OEMs. The OEMs, it's like just sell and disappear. You've got invested time and interest with companies, other families, because that's what it is that we all do. So really, anybody out there, I put you guys like at a level ahead,
Yeah, very much.
which is really important. I also think in our industry, you know, when we talk about the change, and everyone should listen, but we are slow to change to the people that are in the higher part of the age bracket. You got to get in tune with the young people and start to move a little faster. I mean, people are more active today. Shoes are better, so we're moving quicker. If we want our industry to be what we want it to be, then we got to wake up a little. And I don't say it in a bad way, but I keep sending that message out because I deal with a lot of people and I get a lot of pushback and I hear a lot of things. So I just wanted to get that plug in. But if you really want to jump ahead, you got to come to Print UV,
Well, for sure.
right?
And you know, Warren, if I might just I wouldn't call this taking exception, but I would just say to point out a distinction. You know, I think that part of why Graphco um, has always, as a brand and as a company philosophy, resonated with commercial printers that are in that somewhere between $5 and $25 million sales category. There are a lot of family businesses. I think that when I'm meeting with someone who also signs the front of a check, as I know you did, versus everyone else at the table being more of a salary guy. And believe me, Derek's a salary guy too, but he has a great family heart because of working at Graphco, and so do all of our people. We kind of understand, I think, a little differently and a little more how folks, in that exact demographic have to make decisions. These are make or break it's for these folks. All due respect to a big international company, and they might spend 3x the amount that my customers spend. But a fellow who has a title versus ownership stake in the business is a different kind of person. And folks that resonate at that level, they do tend to be willing to take a considered risk, especially with LED, because we had taken so much of that risk off the table with the early adopters and with participating in PrintUV and also developing a lot of our own materials where we could really walk in the door and teach someone exactly how to do this. And that made those leaps of faith quite a bit more comfortable. So anyway, sorry to go on and on.
But no, actually,
I think about this a lot.
No, I'm actually great because I'm, excuse me, I'm going to have you back on my Printings Alive podcast where we can go really in depth because you just said a lot of things that I've been talking about.
I love your new thing, Warren. I love that. The
Thank
one that
you.
you had
Thank
with the 3 companies that were Israeli based. I just thought was awesome. I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, you know what? You just made my day because there's so many things I want to say. So about my Printings Alive podcast, I just want to bring that to the market because I want to go global with it. I want to talk everything print, and I don't care if it's printed mugs, paper, packaging, cement, fabric. I want to talk to people who love printing. Like I just want to make it for what it is. When you live within the world of print, you sometimes get, jaded by it and all of that, but it really is. After the conference, the printing industry is a great industry, one of the best in the world, and the whole world can't live without print. That's what really got me involved. And then it's the whole emotional side and all that. But we're going to do another podcast because you touched on a lot of great things. We'll set that up after. And then the other thing about this show coming up, and I always get a little just a little choked with it, but we're going to have we're gonna celebrate Hans Ulland, who is Steve, was the co-founder with Steve. Hans's family will be there, which is really special.
Yep.
And Hans was the type of guy where, I love Steve, but Hans makes it happen, right?
Well, Hans' passion for everything about the whole energy curing, and then as LED became, more prevalent and as they evolved their technology to support that, he was absolutely a pioneer that we would not be where we are today as an industry without him. I also remember that the times that he and I would talk about his children, that was his real, you think he was passionate about the print industry. I remember, the soccer and some of the other sports and things that, he was going through with his kids while still trying to grow a business. I know how hard that is. And so I'm glad that there will be a nice tribute for him and for his significance to the business.
The whole show actually is a tribute to him. That's why we all go every year. Yep, but cool. Yep. So, anyways, just so I thank you for taking the time away on your vacation to come and chat. Yep. It's always a pleasure. I guess we will see you in 3 or 4 weeks or so, whenever that might be, but it's coming around soon.
Yep. So, all right. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Warren. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care. Pleasure, man. Be well.
Yep. All right. You too.
Hang on. And to everybody else listening, sign up, come see Chris, come see me, come see everybody, buy me a drink, buy him a drink. Everybody buys everybody drinks, but greatest show on earth. We'll see you there. Enjoy your vacation.
All right. Thanks so much. All the best.
Cheers.